Greetings, YouTube. I read an article yesterday, and it references an interview that made the rounds on the internet at one point with Jenny McCarthy. And in the interview, she was quoted as having said her son had never actually experienced the disease, autism. The interview apparently was a fabrication. Her son is autistic, and Miss McCarthy is justifiably upset that the false information was put forth in the world about her son's medical condition. And as a response to this, she has said that the irresponsible and inaccurate reporting has, been very painful to her. And I can imagine that's so. It's never good to have someone take you out of context. I've had it happen here on YouTube on a regular basis. And it's even worse if it's on a much larger scale, international scale, as Miss McCarthy is often on. But there seems to be a certain degree of cognitive dissonance involved here when Miss McCarthy is discussing irresponsible and inaccurate reporting. And I've spoken about Miss McCarthy here before, and in reference to the fact that thanks to her efforts, there are millions of children in the world that are being denied all or some of their vaccinations because she has spouted and spread falsehoods, lies, deceptions, out and out untruths. There isn't just inaccurate words being spouted towards these children. No, there have been children that have died because of the things Miss McCarthy has said. Miss McCarthy has blood on her hands. Not figurative blood. Literal blood. She has caused the death of human beings by spreading ignorance. And she's upset and injured emotionally because of irresponsible and inaccurate reporting, when she herself is one of the best examples I can think of irresponsible and inaccurate reporting. Now remember, the original report, all those years ago, that called into question the multi-stage vaccination process that was being practiced, and is still being practiced in most places, was put forth by a doctor who was marketing his own single-dose vaccination program. So he was not calling the vaccination process into question as a process. He was calling it into question as saying, that process over there is bad. I want you to buy my process. And that's where this whole thing started. Right there. Right then. The whole idea that he was saying vaccination itself is bad is wrong. It's a lie. He wasn't claiming that vaccination doesn't work. He was claiming that the vaccination process he was trying to push off the market didn't work as well as his vaccination process, which he was trying to put onto the market. It was marketing. It had nothing to do with the health and safety of the human population. It had to do with putting coin in his pocket. And the fact that, unfortunately, Miss McCarthy's son has autism, and she somehow conflated this horrible disorder with vaccines, and there is no connection, let's make that abundantly clear, is unfortunate that she made that connection. It doesn't exist. But then she began to spread this meme. She began to spread these lies. And more people began to listen because she has the power of celebrity. And she has sown death across this world. So, well, it's not good that someone reported inaccuracies about her life. We should not forget the harm Miss McCarthy has done to humanity. She has set back science in some ways decades. There are people who are going to use the information coming from Miss McCarthy to haunt us for generations. Because whichever kid that didn't get those vaccines, that make it into adulthood without having caught the diseases, will then be used as proof that you don't need the vaccines. When in actuality, they got lucky because the people around them did get the vaccines. And some of those kids that didn't get the vaccines, well, some of those kids aren't going to make it to adulthood. And some of those kids are going to spread easily preventable diseases to other people in the process. People who may not be able to get vaccines, or people who have compromised immune systems because of other diseases, such as, for example, diabetes. So, Miss McCarthy is Lady Death. And she's complaining that an interview was falsified?